Good evening, everyone. Yes, it's me, Desmondo. It's the Shed of War. It's American Civil War, and it's Heth's division attack at Gettysburg. Yes, this is the rerun of last week's game with some enhancements not only on the terrain but also in the game itself. For you who are eagle-eyed and who have watched the previous video that I put up, you'll notice we now have teddy bear cornfields, lots of them. We have some new roads, which are from early war miniatures and very nice. I need to do a little bit more work on them, but they replaced the cobbled roads, which were completely wrong, but that's all I had at the time. We've introduced a few more troops, updated some of the unit strengths after reading through a few more books and cross-referencing comments, changed the reinforcement table so the timings are a bit clearer, a bit better in my opinion. And finally, we introduced a lovely event system which relies on cards being drawn at the end of each turn and an accumulation of points. And when there's accumulation of points that are reached, at that point, an event will happen. Now, I won't ruin it because there are other people playing this again next week, but essentially you have to reach 16 points. And you draw a card at each turn. Those cards are numbered 0 to 3. There are a lot of zeros, a lot of ones, fewer twos, and very few threes. So over the course of the game, getting to 16, unless you're very unlucky, should take between 12 and 13 turns. So you can get a lot of gaming in before the events start to kick in. Now we're going to refine that even more next week because we're replaying it for the last time on Saturday, and we are going to have additional events which we triggered at different points as well. So really looking forward to the final version of this. I hope to write this all up. I hope to get it either in a Two Fat Lardies magazine at the end of the year, or potentially just put it up free. But we'll see how the year progresses and how much fun we have with this and developing it even more. So, quick report. So, a little bit better this time for the Confederates. They did far better than they did last time. Ian led Archer's brigade across the stream and actually was doing very well and holding that position. He was taking heavy casualties, but he was doing very well. Gave him time for Pettigrew to come up, who can see these very large brigades here, to storm up and try and put pressure on the Union line. The I Brigade did sterling job again. It did go forward again to try and throw Archer back, but then got shot to bits itself. So quite wisely, Adrian decided to try and hide behind that picket fence and try and hold off the Confederate assault. But we got near to the end of the game before the Pettigrew could really get committed. But that was developing very nicely. In the centre, the Confederates broke through at last, at fearful cost, I should point out, but they did eventually smash the centre. Now, how that was going to develop was going to be very interesting because the Union didn't have any reserve over there behind. Those units there are retreating, are retiring as the brigade has faltered. Over on this flank, Cutler and then I think it's Baxter did a sterling job for the Union holding up Davis, but Davis was only 3 regiments, so he pinned down, I think it's near a total of 5 in the end, which was excellent work. He took a bit of a battering, but that was good because in the end we then get the flanking manoeuvre, which is actually, this is Everson, who came in right on the flank, and actually the Union in the real battle were actually behind this wall and gave them a right good kicking. In fact, most of Evenson's brigade was destroyed. Now in this case, the Union had actually already fallen back and hadn't anticipated this. And there's one more brigade to come in, which is Daniel's brigade, which will come in about here. So there would have been a lot of pressure on the Union, but that's actually what happened on the day. So, this is not meant to be a fair fight. This is meant to be a reflection of actually what troops were there, led by who, and where they came in on what time. Now, just to say, there's lots of other little things going on. We represent the 12th Corps, which is fighting off table just behind where you can see that chair. So that plays into the game. It can trigger various events as well. We also have the possibility that both Pettigrew and, this guy's name always does me, Brockenbauer, actually don't get ordered to go forward. So again, we've got all sorts of things flying around the game to make this more and more replayable. So you don't just know exactly what's going to happen and when. Really, really lovely game. You've heard me say this before, American Civil War, 28mm. What else could a man really want if he's a war gamer, in my opinion? Yeah, fabulous. And we're going to replay it again next Saturday. I think it's Ian, Per, myself, Pip, and maybe one other guest appearance, and I may just like sit back and umpire and just keep an eye on everything and just write notes. But yeah, so I'll give you one final last look at the game. There you have a quite wonderful sight in my opinion. The Iron Brigade and another brigade, I think it's Biddle, holding that ridge against Pettigrew, who's down there. And then if we go down here, we've got Archer, who seemed to be rather stupidly going forward all by himself, but there you go. Really nasty firefight in the woods. However, that, if you look, that Union unit is completely isolated now, as its friends have all tumbled back and are leaving it all isolated. And finally, as we scan across here, yep, there we have the Union line on the right of the flank, holding it all together and in reasonable shape. So yeah, that's the last view. So hopefully you'll join us next week when we will play this again, on next Saturday I should say, and I'll post one final video of this game before it all goes away. Next up will be setting up the game for Hearts of Lard, which is one of the Lardy days down in London in the UK, and I'm packing that all away ready to take along to the Lardy day because I'm putting that game on. But anyway, one final look. Take care everybody, hope you have a lovely week.